So I was eating breakfast and I did something that one of my exes had pointed out to me. And because you are yourself, so you do things naturally that I guess you probably wouldn't like notice because it's just a normal or an instinctual routine for you. And it wasn't until he pointed it out that I realized that I do it. And I still don't notice that I'm doing it until like random moments like today. And I just was appreciating just who he was as a person when I noticed it. Because even though things didn't work out, I did realize how much he paid attention to me. And that was one of the things I actually really liked about him. But he let me move at my own pace. Like when I'm alone, it's not that big of a deal because like it's only me I have to worry about. But when you're with another person, it's like little things like that you would take notice of. Like for me, with him, he had all this energy and he always wanted to move around, and he was a ball of energy. And I equated it to him being younger because he was significantly younger than me, which is kind of why it didn't work out. But even though he was younger, he was still trying to be more mature. And I think it was because of my age. He wanted to like be better per se. And granted, I don't knock anyone that date anyone younger than them because like if you truly want it, you'll work at it. And for him, like you could tell he wanted it, so he was working towards things. But just because of his age and like the age range he was in, like certain things it just comes with time, and he was his age. So I wasn't knocking him for like the things that he did. It's like because that's the age range you're in, it makes sense for what you're doing. But like I said, if people wanted, they could work at it, like if they truly wanted to. And again, I was just appreciating how he allowed me to move at my pace and didn't, like he would poke fun at it, but he wouldn't like get upset with me or try to change me into being somebody that I'm not. So like I would see him like being patient and just waiting till I had everything I need to leave out the house. And he'll be like, did you go check the room one more time? And it'll be like, what you mean? And it wasn't until he pointed it out that I realized like there are certain things that I do just to make sure that in my head everything is together, which is hilarious, but it works for me. And I really just like the fact that even though he may have noticed these things and pointed them out randomly, it was never like a judgmental. I didn't feel judged by it. It was more so like, dang, you really paying that much attention to me. And like in a good way, not in a, people be creepy, but not in that creepy way. Like in a, you really you really trying to get to know me. Like not even trying to, you're getting to know me. But with that, it was just more so like being able to move at your own pace and not feeling judged to fit anybody's time frames or standards of where they feel like you need to be or how you need to be moving is peaceful. And I don't know if it's intentional. I feel like it might be in a sense if you go like real deep on it, but I feel like most people would thrive or even just live more comfortably if they were able to move at their own pace without having to fit societal norms of paces that people feel like they should be at. For example, I went back home one time and I was at the airport and I was moving slow. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I really was. And the lady was just like, can you hurry up? And it took me aback, like, girl, what you, like, it would have been rude if it wasn't, like, the setting. And it was just like, because I was at home and I know how they are, I was just like, that's why I like where I'm at. Because not saying that they move slower down there, but it is a slower pace. So like I was saying, it's more natural down where I stay at now compared to up north, where it's like everything is more fast paced and we got to get things done. Like, let's go. But when you used to not having to move like that, when you get around people that are in that type of energy, it could come off rude. But it's just like, that's their standard, or that's their pace that they live at. And granted, they're not giving grace to the people that don't live at that pace, but it's just like, just think of how more of a harmonious living we could be in if people would allow people to move at their pace. It's like we give grace to older people for being a little slower because they're older, or we give kids grace for being a little more energetic because they're kids. But when a normal person in a normal different, or their age range moves at whatever pace that they are at, it seems like people get frustrated with people because they feel like it should be a standard when everyone's different. So there isn't one. And I'm just noticing how more peaceful it is when you're able to just live in who you are. It's like the comparisons start bringing in an unnecessary turmoil. Like, I don't know if y'all can feel it, but you literally can see it all over social media and just even in life, if you're paying attention, how there's this kind of bait to cause racial tension. And I don't know if it's because of the time frame right now. Like, yesterday was Juneteenth, so something about that was bringing out an unnoticed unease that most people, I don't know, I just never noticed the tension as much as I had before then. Granted, Juneteenth is fairly new, but who would have thought just how much tension it would bring? Like, even with this being Pride Month, I don't even feel like that tension compared to this tension. And not even trying to compare the two, but it's just like, why is there a tension? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. I don't even want to go too deep in that, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's an unnecessary comparison that doesn't need to even be a thing. Like, if people moving at their own pace, walking in their own ways, like, certain things just shouldn't bother you. Like, again, I don't want to go too deep in that, but yeah. But it's like a unnatural force that wants to pull it out, if that makes sense. So I was watching this, I don't know, it was like a Christian movie last weekend. And it was showing a scene where the lady caught in adultery was brought to, I'm going to just say, like, the town to be stoned. And everybody was ready to stone this lady. They was picking up their rocks, and the whole movie was kind of like centered around this one Pharisee, like, following Jesus around, pointing out all his mistakes, right? So when the lady came up, he was just like, well, what do you believe in? Do you feel like this lady needs to be stoned? And Jesus picked up his rock and he was just, looking around, and he was just like, if anyone here hasn't sinned, like, he ain't say cast the first stone. Like, he ain't say it how the Bible said. Through that whole movie, they ain't really like quote the Bible verbatim, but you know, if you read the Bible, you got the concept. But he was just like, if anybody hasn't sinned before, like, I'm gonna say cast your first stone because that's what I'm used to, and I don't really remember exactly what the movie said. And people just started dropping their rocks and walking away. And I feel like it's everybody. I feel like there's a spiritual, the spirit that man was in the movie trying to like catch Jesus up and everything is kind of like the tension that's I feel in the air right now. Like there's that type of tension. Like he wanted something to be wrong so bad and was just following him around to try to find something wrong so bad that it's just like it created the tension. But when it came down to it and Jesus was just pointing out different things within the movie, it was just like nobody was able to stone or throw a stone at this lady because like when you point it back to yourself, it's like, dang, I'm not that different from, like my sin ain't really that different from they sin. And not even putting it on just like a sinful type of matter. Like even the movie itself had pointed out the whole tax collector. And just the way that they portrayed that part was kind of cool too, because it was like this man was sitting there trying to trip Jesus up again, and he just pointed out the tax collector's heart posture without even having the tax collector speak. And it was all shown through like emotions. It wasn't shown in a verbal way, kind of like now, like it's something that isn't being spoken up on, but you can feel it. But because there's like there are a lot of things taking place naturally that could cause a reaction. But because people aren't reacting in the way that is fitting to what's taking place, it's just like, how can you can't justify whatever the other reaction would want. So that's why it's like a tension, because it's like we're putting this out there so that a reaction could take place, but the reaction we're needing isn't taking place to justify how we want to react. So all it is a cloud of tension. But if you look at that from a different perspective, you can see the beauty of moving at your own pace. Like, even if you are reacting in the way that you react, just your natural reaction is causing what would Jesus do reaction to the atmosphere. And I don't feel like I said that the best way I could, but like if you saw that movie and you saw the tax collector's emotions behind what took place with what Jesus was doing in the setting, it's more so like that. Like you're the tax collector's reaction right now. Like your heart posture is showing up and doing exactly what it needs to do for the tension that's taking place, because it's showing that the tension that's taking place doesn't make sense. But you being you is still allowing the people that's trying to get to know you realize like these are your character traits, and either liking them or you realizing these are your character traits and accepting them. Like, I guess this is for the people that get it type of thing, because like I really don't feel like I'm explaining it well, but all I'm going to say is like just keep moving at your pace. Like I said before, the people that want it to work, they'll make it work, and y'all are moving in unison to a better future. But the people that it's not going to work with, like you just got to realize that's who those people are, and that's a them issue, and don't make it a you issue, and move forward with that knowledge basically. But yeah, I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's weekend. It's a lot in this weekend. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all for now. Until next time.